Hi everybody and welcome to this new pin locations guide for the Koi 9-hole cup we're playing on the Gokasho Bay course, and in similar fashion to recent 9-hole cups, so pins have been moved around. So as always, we're going to look at all 9 holes, overviews on the left hand side of the screen, pictures of the green on the right with the new pins, and also approximate locations where the old ones used to be. I will be giving you my thoughts on whether the holes are now going to be easier, harder, or about the same, and how it will affect what you're playing regardless of division or tee that you are playing from. Before we get started with hole number 1, it would be greatly appreciated if you can leave me a thumb up on the video and make sure you're subscribed as well. Get the bell button switched on, you'll be notified when we upload content for the 9-hole cup when the tournament has begun. I'm going to be covering expert division. Leave me a comment now on this video, let me know once you've watched it what you think of the new pin locations. Do you think it's going to be easier, about the same, or a little bit tougher? Would love to hear your thoughts. Let's get started with hole number 1. Here we are then with hole number 1, starting with a par 4 where we play out to the right hand side, and then we either take a rough bump or we bounce over to the pin. There's the new pin location on screen, and put a black cross, as we usually do, of the approximate location of the old one. This one obviously being moved to the right and nearer where we will be taking our shot from. So the rough bump even easier in my opinion. There is not a huge funnel to the pin, but there wasn't in the old place anyway, but I would describe it as a favourable route, and even if you are going to bounce over and not attempt the rough bump, this is a very easy pin position. You know, if they wanted to make this really difficult, it could have been over on the right hand side with the bunker in play, but it isn't. It's nearer and it's closer to the rough, so an excellent chance on this par 4. Hole number 2, affectionately known as the bumpy shootout due to the undulating fairway before the green. There's the new pin location being moved to the back right corner of the green. There is where the old one used to be. We used to catch the slope very nicely for a pretty decent chance at hole in one. Not a guarantee, but there is more distance to cover here, so if we are going to bounce over, more top spin needed and most likely some right spin. For those that wanted to do the sand bump on the bunker on the right, taking the slope to the left where the old pin used to be, I think that is going to rule that shot out of action from what I've seen so far. So a little more distance to cover could be a slightly tricky one here, and the key, as always on this par 3, is finding a very consistent point to land your first bounce. Looking at hole number 3 now, the first par 5, and there is the new pin location, which is towards, again, the right hand side of the green, a little bit further away from the old one, which I'm going to put up on the screen right now. It used to be in the centre, a bit of a slope that used to be behind where the old pin was, but now we've got to play much further to the right. There's still the choice of approaches. You can bounce over from that fairway island lower left of the green on the overview, or if you're wanting to attack the pin, go for the albatross, then it is going to be rough bump once again, but bear in mind further distance to cover, so a little bit more topspin needed if you're going to attack the pin in the new location on the right hand side. Hole number 4, one of the easier par 3s, definitely of Gokasho Bay, but maybe in the game as well. Pin being moved quite dramatically to the right. So bouncing over that first larger bunker, we did have a lovely line to the pin. Going to be a little bit trickier, but really is still going to make this a very, very easy par 3. The problem is, or rather the difference, we're going to have to bounce beyond that largest bunker and before the right hand bunker. So definitely from second tee, it means we're going to be playing this with the wood club rather than the long iron, because it used to be kind of max distance grizzly with a power 3 ball. So we are going to have to play it further on the right, further away from the tee, but even with the sniper or your preferred wood club, still a very, very good chance for a hole in one with this, because the green is very flat and there is still a nice route to the pin, even though we are playing more on the right hand side. Hole number 5 now, not really made a huge difference to this one. There's the new pin location on the picture, and here comes the black cross where the old one used to be. So if you're going to play this to the right hand side, if you do have headwind, then not really going to endanger the bunker, because you're just going to get to the green safely in 2 with your wood club. You'll not be attacking the pin as easily from distance, but it was such a tough drop to get anyway. This one being moved to the left, if you're going to go aggressive, playing with topspin on your drive to reach that patch of fairway that is connected to the green, you're still going to have a very, very good chance with the short iron, most likely going to be the thorn, for an eagle on this one. So if we do get favourable wind, then that is going to be the play. Doesn't really make it much dramatically different. In my opinion, still an excellent chance for an eagle. Here we go with hole 6 then. You usually see a lot of hook shots played on this one to get the ball as close to green as you can, especially if you're from 2nd and 3rd tee. Obviously rookies have a clear line to the green anyway. If you can get close, you're going to be playing with your short iron, pin moved to the left, as you can see there. There's the old one. So a little bit nearer, nothing to worry about. If you're playing with the wood club, it's still the same old challenge of finding a consistent landing spot before the green to aim at. But obviously you're going to have to aim further to the left or use a bit of left spin to compensate for the new pin location. If you have gone aggressive on the drive, still a very, very good chance with the short iron to lock in an albatross. And I think you're going to see plenty of them on this par 5, particularly if you have some tailwind angle from the tee. Hole number 7, the pot bunker par 3. Pin now on the left-hand side of the green. The green does slope down from right to left, but there's not going to be any worry here about putts that cannot reach the pin, because we don't have to deal with that slope. So a little bit easier in that respect. The old way of playing the hole in certain wind directions was to play right side of the bunker. I think that is going to be out of the equation now, because we can play directly at the pin on the left-hand side. Of course, we do still have to contend with bouncing on the slope if you're playing left-hand side of the bunker, or even in certain wind directions adjusting down into that bunker, which is fairly deep and will cause you to lose distance. I think this one is slightly easier than the old location, but still it is going to be a tricky par 3 due to the inconsistencies of where you're going to land your first bounce. Here we have the final par 4. It is hole number 8. Now it may look a little bit tricky because it's further away, it's behind the bunker on the right. However, in my experience of this hole, we can now bounce on the green nearer the pin. Before, we were always having to find a nice spot between the bunkers and the fringe with our short iron if we could get far enough from our drive, and that could be a little bit tricky because sometimes you had a higher bounce than others. Where it is now, even though it is more behind the right-hand bunker, I don't think this is going to cause any issues whatsoever. If we're playing with wood club, yes, we still have to bounce over the bunkers anyway, so that is always going to be a problem regardless of where the pin is. But I think this one is still going to lend itself very nicely for a good eagle opportunity, providing we get a good distance on the drive. So we finish with the lengthy par 5, hole number 9, with the green on display. Pin moving to the left. Now, you had 2 approaches here. If you've got a decent wind on the drive, then you'll be playing directly with a high-powered ball with backspin, bouncing on that little bit of fairway. And you've got a good chance of getting close, if not in. Very difficult shot, though. If you are playing the bounce over before the stream, you're playing with full right curl, a load of right spin, the pin is really not going to be in the line of the shot because you're going to be playing further on the right of the green. The pin is being moved to the left. So this is a tricky hole anyway. The pin location, not impossible, but it has made it a little bit trickier, especially if you have to bounce over. So this one is going to be very, very wind angle dependent. So a trickier finish after what I think has been generally slightly easier hole locations for the 9 holes on average in the Gokasho Bay course. Thank you for watching this new pins guide for the Koi 9-hole Cup on the Gokasho Bay. Before I sign off, please join our free Facebook group. Head over to Facebook, type in BK Golf Clash in the search bar and click on the group. It is free to join. There are free guides posted there by some of the best content creators in the game and loads of shot sharing as well, and discussion points, help and advice for all levels of gameplay. So everybody is welcome. Join us. We are on our way to 10,000 members. Thank you for watching. Leave me a comment what you think about these new pin locations, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.